Our rules are simple, but the challenge is great. All dinos will be explored in this challenge, but only reasonable underdogs voted on by the community will be considered for grading. Equipped with official server cap saddles, our 19 contenders will be backed by the commanding presence of a loyal Uteranus providing that extra boost. All competitors will go into battle with food to provide a healing effect. Herbivores will have plenty of sweet veggie cakes, and carnivores and omnivores will have cooked meat. It's important to note that tames in this series aren't typically used during boss battles because of the amount of mutations you need to make them competitive. But all dinos competing will have around 23,000 health and 1200% melee. This will give them all a fair shot at defeating at least one of the Guardians. It won't always be feasible to reach these stats depending on the dinos I'm using, but I'll let you know the amount of mutations and levels it took in order to reach it. All competitors start out with 50 base health and melee and 40 points in everything else before I apply mutations and experience levels. You can decide on your own servers if the juice is worth the squeeze. Competitors are required to fight the megapithecus, broodmother, then dragon on all difficulties starting with gamma, then beta, finishing with alpha. Their success will be annotated on this scorecard with a pass or fail system. Clearing all the bosses earns them a gold boom medal, silver is awarded for clearing beta, bronze is for clearing gamma, and the chunk of shit is for an unworthy performance. Once all expansion creatures are finished, the gold medal winners will test their strength against the overseer for the finale. Now let's introduce our competitor and see if they have what it takes. Maeguana. This Lactosaurus was introduced with the new map Astraeos and can be found in the grasslands gliding about and squirting milk out of its juicy cans. The Maeguana is literally just the Maywing from Genesis, and for one, I am extremely pleased that they brought it into ASA so early. It's an amazing berry harvester, operates as a trough for your babies, and it's an amazing travel mount. I mean, who doesn't like riding around on some jugs? The stats required for this competition were achieved with a whopping 58 mutations and 85 experience levels, 38 mutations and 40 levels went into health, and 20 mutations and 45 levels went into melee. Now let's see if they have what it takes. Green portal time means gazonga bonga hoo-ha time, and the areola gators are ready to lactate into the gamma megapithecus arena and provide some much needed calcium to some apes. I was a little worried at first that they'd jump and glide all over the place, but fortunately, that wasn't the case. I was pretty surprised that they could block the Megapithecus' advances until he would punch, of course, and was extremely happy with how maneuverable they are. The damage output isn't that great, but their attack speed isn't half bad, so I had some high hopes going into the later rounds. The Nipple Newts put up a hell of a fight and dropped the Megapithecus, earning a pass. The Gamma Broodmother is up next, and I was kind of caught off guard at first. See, the Megapithecus appeared to be blocked by the Udder Dragons, and that's actually kind of a huge deal. It allows the smaller and weaker creatures to perform much better than they probably should. The Broodmother, unfortunately, unleashed all her attacks into the mob of memory monitors. This isn't much of an issue at the Gamma stage, but if you've ever fought Beta or Alpha Broods, you know that the future isn't too bright. The Busty Basilisks do a pretty good job at surrounding the Broodmother and able to whittle down her health and put her into the ground, earning another pass. The Gamma Dragon is up next, and my first thoughts were that the Dairy Drakes would be just fine at this stage. If creatures can get under the dragon, then you can position them in a way where they're going to take minimal damage and not catch fire. Unfortunately, this creature was clearly designed by Wildcard, because half the time they can't attack the dragon. This is a problem because even if you're using the strategy of toe biting, you need to be able to deal damage. Lots of it. Quickly. The Bazongamanders just don't have enough damage output overall, and when you combine that with the inept design that doesn't allow a lot of creatures to attack the dragon, you get a piss-poor performance. Fortunately, the Gamma Dragon is simple, and the Hooter Hydras take out the Gamma Dragon, earning a pass. Blue portal time means booby time, and the Beta Megapithecus is up next. The Beta Megapithecus shows that the Gamma fight was perceived a bit differently than I thought it was, and the big man definitely doesn't focus on Commander Utes. Luckily for the titty skinks though, because the Megapithecus just isn't that hard of a fight. The Niplodiles still do a good job at dishing out some hurt and add some slight hope for the future battles. The Megapithecus isn't that difficult overall, but once you get to the Beta and Alpha stages, you need to perform some crowd control, because the posse that the big man brings with him can seriously ruin your day if your creatures don't have a decent cone of attack. The Maeguana or Maywing doesn't have that cone. Their attack spread is pretty small, so if you use these, you're going to have to be sure to take out the adds along the way. Beta Megapithecus goes down, and the Jugosaurus earns another pass. The Beta Broodmother is up next, and the Knocker Gators get around the arena with ease because of their awesome maneuverability. And just like the Gamma fight, we are experiencing a similar situation. The Underboobs just can't seem to lose aggro from the Broodmother, and the Broodmother's horrible kids really add another layer onto this fight. They're small, they get into places they shouldn't, so they're kind of hard to kill. It's important that you're policing the Araneos in this fight because the damage they deal adds up big time. The Beta Broodmother hits hard as hell, and Commander Utes eventually gets pulled into the carnage and is forced to fight. The Broodmother puts up a hell of a challenge, and the Salamamreys just can't hang. They all die, Commander Utes dies, then I die. That's a fail. The beta dragon is up next, and the aerial might have a shot at this if they can just output enough damage. The most important thing in this fight is going to be the positioning to ensure maximum damage potential. As you probably know, the wild card made creatures that are low on the ground, there's spots in the dragon arena where they literally won't attack. Hell, even on a perfect round, they sometimes just don't attack. If I could get the positioning right, then maybe, just maybe, the Crocotatas can pull this off. I had a very successful first attempt before he took off, but every landing the dragon has, something is going to get caught on fire. You can't take many shots of his fire, which is why DPS is so important here. I tried this fight 4 times, and it ended the same way every time, with me dead as hell and the dragon still alive. That's another fail. Red portal time means alpha time, and the Honkosaurus is ready to bounce and jiggle their way into the alpha megapithecus arena to take down the mob of monkeys. This one's actually pretty interesting. There's 2 situations in these fights where I get super happy, and that's when we have an unexpected win, and when the megapithecus can actually kill something. Which one do you think happens here? The alpha megapithecus isn't that difficult, but again, if you can't deal damage, eventually you're going to go to sleep. I tried this fight 3 times, and this is the closest that I got. It was so close, but once I was on foot and I had 2 near-death titty skinks left, I knew it was over. Even if the megapithecus was close to death, the Maeguanas capped the night off with another fail. Heading over to the scoreboard, the Maeguanas are awarded a bronze boom medal for clearing the Gamma stage. I know this is just a reskinned Maywing, but I'm still going to be using the Maywing for one of these in the future. Let me know in the comments if you've been following the Astraeos streams. I'm curious if you'd like to see the Underdog boss battles against the Astraeos bosses. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to help this community grow. If you've been here a while, it's about time you became a patron or member. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.